Alright guys, I wanted to make a video to show my little trick into how I level and fine-tune calibrate my build plate on my FlashForge Creator Pro. What I did in here, as you can see, I have the glass that I put on top and modification in the back that I used. I have another video on how to do this, and then a dashboard non-slip mat underneath the glass to keep it in place so it doesn't move. Like I said, there's another video explaining how to do that, but this will work whether you do this or not. It's pretty much the same concept. Doesn't matter. So first thing that I do, just like anybody does, I go to the utilities. And I level the build plate. Right now I'm gonna spin these all down to make sure that my bed's all out of whack, so I know that it's all screwed up. Alright, just like anybody does, you use a business card. I like to use index cards. This isn't my trick that I'm trying to show you, because obviously everybody knows how to do this. But this is the first step that I do to getting it level. With the printer, you can use that Replicator G software to connect to your computer and level it, but I never got this printer to connect to my computer for some reason, and never really cared. I just do this. This really works with any printer too. I originally started doing this with my MakerBot. And then I just started doing it when I got the FlashForge. Just till it gets moved, make sure it's just kind of level. It doesn't really matter, because the next step that I'm going to do, and the step that I'm trying to show, is what's gonna really fine tune it. Now, so I'm going to cancel this, just say that it's somewhat level, kind of close. It'll be a starting point. And I'm going to set this to preheat. And while this is preheating, I'm going to show you the files and setup to basically what I did. So I designed two really flat, not very high, rectangles that extrude a couple millimeters up, but mainly the point is that they take up practically the entire build plate. They really test the perimeter, hence why I called it perimeter test, and it prints around. So right here you see two rectangles, an inner and an outer rectangle. I do this for dual extrusion to make sure that both of my extruders are calibrated right, but you could take one out and then you'd only have the outer rectangle, and you can do that for a single extruder, left or right. What I do here is set that PLA dual and do my custom settings. So I have it print very, very slow, 10 millimeters per second, extremely slow. I do this so that I can adjust as it prints to make sure that it sets just right, that it just sticks. It doesn't stick too hard, it won't warp, or it's not too high that it'll come up. I have this set to 0.2 and then your standard 230, 230, 0 for PLA. I exported all these, I already made these, and I'm going to upload all of these with the folder in a zip file or something. So in a folder called perimeter test, I have each file. So dual ABS 01mm means dual extruder, both of them are running with the inner and the outer rectangle for ABS, so basically heated build plate on, and at 0.1 millimeter layer height. This one's same thing, dual ABS but 0.2. This one's dual ABS but 0.3. So basically, if you have your print bed leveled for prints at 0.3 millimeters, and then you try to print something at 0.1 millimeters on the same level without changing it, it's basically not going to stick, or probably not going to stick that well, and it's going to warp or just be a horrible print. So what you can do from going from that level of 0.3, you can print this in between or right before you print whatever you want to print at 0.1. Do this perimeter test, which takes like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and print that. So I have it for ABS and PLA. The only difference between dual ABS and dual PLA here is I turned off the heated build plate. And then left ABS 0.1. This is just using the left extruder for ABS. This one's just using the left extruder for PLA. Just the right extruder for ABS and just the right extruder for PLA, and then the various heights. See, I only have the 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3 millimeters on here. However, I have experimented and successfully done as low as 0.07, 0.08 layers. You can manually calibrate that, like I said, in MakerWare with your settings. And then do the perimeter test, and then do the same thing with the print. You'll have even a higher quality. So I guess I'll just show you how it works. I'm going to upload all of these X3G files, also along with the STLs of my outer and inner rectangles. Basically what you do is you just take this folder and you plop it into your SD card that you use for your FlashForge. I would suggest taking everything off that SD card, putting it in a folder on your desktop, and then adding this perimeter test folder first, and then adding everything back in, because when you go to print, it'll always be the top one. You won't have to find it. So it's a folder. I added the folder on the SD card, so I just hit the button over, or just the middle button, or either or, and then you'll see all of these. So right now I have 2 PLAs going into my printer, and so I'm going to do dual PLA, and I want to set it to, let's just say, 0.2 millimeters. I'm going to wait for that. Okay, the printer is ready to print the perimeter test, and let's get back to it. So we're going to watch it. It's going to do a little skirt here, like anytime you do it in MakerWare, it's going to do. Make sure each filament is going. And you come back with that yellow. So I did red and yellow. So basically what I'm going to do here, you see that it's printing red. As it's printing, this video quality of the video isn't very good, but I adjust this up or down to make sure that it is extruding from each level. So you can see, I'll show you. Now it's going down the right end and it's not extruding much, but if I lower this right down here as it goes around, this is why I did it very slow. This is why it's going very slow, 10 millimeters per second. You can see, and you can feel where it just printed. You can see where it's all glitched up right here. I'm going to do that back right. Looks pretty good back there. Feel it, I could feel it, and it's not, oh, it moved. So this has to come up. So the right's coming up a little bit. It looks like it's extruding and layering very well along that end. Alright, so looks like I need to bring my left up a little bit, or my center right here. Yeah, it shouldn't be touching the build plate, but it should just be a hair's length across, just enough to layer down, and it should look very clean. As you can see, this turn and this right I have perfect right now. This doesn't look very clean, but this does, so I know that this side is leveled very well. This back over here, you see, ended up not sticking well because it should be a perfect square. But on this next go around, adjusting, I'll see if I can fix that. I stick my finger back there, and yes, it did stick very well. It's very even. These corners, I like to test the corners to see if there's any warping on them or if they didn't stick well. but you can see this is obviously very, very well leveled now. So this is calibrated to 0.2 with just the right extruder right now. So in a moment, I'm going to pause the video, you'll see that the left extruder is going to do another rectangle just a little bit closer in here, and we'll see if that's level. But now that this has 2 go-arounds and these 2 corners look very good, it doesn't really matter because this was the first, like right here, this was the first go-around. If that's kind of ugly because I corrected it over the next 2 passes. So I'm going to pause this very quick and I'll show you the left extruder working. It's done doing its thing. Now the left is going to start doing its thing. And this, since I got the outer rectangle done really well, or the inner rectangle, I'm sorry, this yellow should extrude and layer very well, in which it is. You can see it's an outer shell. You can see it right, oh yeah, you'll see it a lot better right here. Yeah, so that looks really good. Let that do 1 pass. But yeah, that's on there well. You can feel it raised up just a little bit. I can see, I don't know how well this is gonna work, but no, this won't work. Yeah, but it looks about right. It's just up. It looks very clean, and I got it leveled for 0.2 in PLA. Perfect. Yeah, you can see it. So I'm going to cancel this. But you see this is where it all started, this red. You see how ugly that is. And then as I adjusted, as it went, I keep on adjusting until you really have this very nice, clean, even line. Especially over here. And then that last yellow that went across, this was before. This is why you use purge walls on these dual extruders. Yeah, it levels it perfect. It does it for all the sizes, and I'll zip them and upload them with the video. This is how I level my prints for calibration. I do it for the MakerBot also, and then, like I said, this will pretty much work for any printer, any. It's the same concept. So, hope you enjoyed.